Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What are you talking about?
Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, the Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast here on the internet. This is episode 133. I'm your host, Xbat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burlyman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. Burley, Carl, how are you doing? Burley?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Xbat and Carl?
I'm doing good. Carl, how you doing?
I am living the life. Just a man who sits at a desk and talks about video games sometimes.
Oh, come on. Yeah, and you play a lot of turn-based games, yes, of course. And Burley, yes, he is also a live streamer, also, yes. So
I may have played some more recently.
Yeah. So
find out soon.
Yep. So how were you guys' weeks? Pretty good. Weather's starting to get warmer, obviously, out there in New York and out there in Canada. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thankfully got both my air conditioners in for my living room and my bedroom, and I've had to turn the one on the living room on a few times because I work from home, and then you get days when it goes up to 27 degrees outside. Yeah. And my apartment is good for keeping in the heat, so not very great in the summer.
Yeah. How about you, Carl, with your conditions there in your apartment you got going on?
You know what? It's all been good. Not much to say. The very uneventful weeks, around here.
Yeah, out here in Japan, the weather's getting warm again. It was like 33 degrees the other day, so it's like close to 90 degrees, I guess. And it's just we're going to have a hot summer this year, I think, really. But anyway, of course, this is a video game podcast, obviously. So it's starting to get hot, of course, close to the summer. And of course, all the gaming news is going to be coming out during the summer. We're really looking forward to bringing that to you. For this episode, of course, we're going to be talking about the Activision Blizzard one step forward from Microsoft. We're going to talk about that. PlayStation has a pretty big event coming up. We're going to mention that and talk about it. And then, of course, PS5 exclusives not coming to PC. We're also going to mention that story, as well as we got a new, of course, reveal about Mortal Kombat. And I'm going to warn you right now, of course, later on when we show the trailer for that, you might, if you have a queasy stomach, you might want to look away from that. So, but anyway. And then our topic of the show, of course, Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, Zelda. Is it Game of the Year already? We're going to be talking about that in the topic of the show. And then, of course, the new game releases and our picks of the week. So we got a great show for you. But before we get into all of that, and before we talk about the games that we have been playing this past week, here is a brief word about where you can find the podcast in audio and video formats. So we'll be right back right after this.
Before the crew discuss what they've been playing, this episode of The Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast's ad-free version in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry Tier 1 level at $1 per month, and get every episode including exclusive ad-free post-show content in video format when recorded, please visit patreon.com/thearenaproductions for further details. The audio version of the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in the video version will be on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, the Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Productions. where you can join and chat with the Arena Productions community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of the Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at the Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at the Arena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
Okay, guys, it's time to talk about the games that we've been playing this last week. And for me, I concentrated completely on The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'm really loving it. And we're going to be talking about it, a lot more during the topic of the show. But, the game is just beautiful. It's really fun to go to all of these different shrines in the sky. And, the puzzles are fun. They're not too challenging yet. And what's interesting about it is, the crafting and, using the arm to manipulate, things and put them together. So I'm really enjoying that. The only real pet peeve I've had about it, and Burley, you could probably attest to this, is early on in the game, you're going to parts of these, these areas in the sky over Hyrule. And some of the elements, like, for example, it's like the winter elements, the cold region. And still in the early stages of the game, Link only has like shorts and like a toga. And he's like running around, right? And so like I died like probably close to 100 times trying to get to the shrine, to get inside the shrine, because you freeze and you only have like 3 hearts at, kind of at the beginning of the game. And so those 3 hearts just, dissipate really quickly.
Yeah, you
and
need
so
to eat those spicy peppers.
Well, I was doing that. I was eating the spicy peppers, but
they don't last long.
They don't last long. Just before you get to the shrine, it's like you just slump over and die. So but
You
finally,
gotta fuse the spicy pepper with your pants, and then it will keep you warm the whole time. Is that a thing?
But
seems like
yeah. But I mean, there's like a shield that has like a flamethrower and everything. So I was like trying to use that flamethrower to like, burn trees and stuff to warm the area up. So hopefully, I could make it, but eventually I did make it. And, that part I got through, but that was a little bit of a pet peeve for me, a little bit of frustration, but I'm just loving the game. It's great. So I'll go ahead and move on to you, Burley. What have you been playing?
I finished up Jedi Survivor.
Nice.
I really, really did enjoy it. If you like the first game, Jedi Fallen Order, you will like Survivor. Survivor adds a lot to the combat and stuff like that.
Yeah, and please go. And before you go on, Burley, please go, all of you viewers here on the Arena Productions on YouTube, please go and check out our Extra Take video. Burley and I, we do a gameplay breakdown of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So please go and check that out. Go ahead, Burley.
Just a great game with like they added more to the original. Like they took what worked from Fallen Order, added to it, added other elements. Like you now NPCs, you can interact with them, do stuff,
right,
and get little rewards. You got like side quest stuff, the rumor system with it, right, and you got more bounty hunters and stuff like that. I'm still going through on my off time, just going through, finishing stuff up and exploring.
Nice.
I also started and beat Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It was a fun little platform. I played the Switch version. Use Funky Kong, because having that his double jump really does help in the hover, because some of that platforming really does get tough. I'll admit I am not the greatest at platformers.
Okay. Now let's move on to you, Carl. What have you been playing?
I finished Persona 4 Golden.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like 80 something hours, I think.
It's such a great game. Yeah. So.
It really is. It's look, playing it after playing Persona 5, like it's definitely not as good, right? But if I had to look at it through the lens of like, all right, this game was made how long? It's really old at this point, right? It's a very
Like
old game.
2008 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Right. So like in that era, like, yeah, this was fantastic. This was, 10 out of 10, maybe today it's more like 9 out of 10, compared to Persona 5, 10 out of 10 type situation. But because, there's some parts of the story that I don't think are as great. Like the main villain's sort of motivation isn't really great. And even then the thing after that and you can actually totally miss the real ending, which is kind of weird. I don't like that. I know there's a little bit of that. Uh-oh. I think okay. There's a little bit of that in Persona 5, but like it is weird that they just kind of like, yeah, if you don't do this thing, then you're just gonna miss out on the whole last dungeon. You just the last boss. Like, it's really weird. And all of that is kind of comes out of nowhere. It's not really like, yeah, it sort of ties in like cleverly to something early in the game, but like it doesn't. It's not like something that's throughout the game. So yeah, it's not perfect, but great game. Loved it.
Cool.
Loved great characters, great moments in the story. So then I was like, all right, I want to play. I want some more. I need my fix. I'm done. I don't know what to do with myself. So I was like, I'll check out. I'll put Soul Hackers 2 back in, and very quickly I was like, nope, this doesn't work. This is not. I don't care. I don't like the way the combat feels. I don't like the way the menus look and feel. Like the design is missing design aspects.
Well, you're just comparing it to Persona. That's why. Yeah.
I know, but it's in the same world. It's using the same creatures. It's it's using all the same spells and attacks. Yeah, the same weaknesses from monsters. And so yeah, I mean, like you have to compare, right?
Yeah.
So then
Are
I
you
was
gonna try the Shin Megami Tensei one?
I mean, if it comes to Game Pass, if that's the thing that happens, I'll try like SMT5, the latest one. Yeah. I tried Persona 3 Portable a little bit.
Yeah.
And I really love the tone of that story and how it starts off. It's a bit different than the other ones because the key difference is like you are not the first person to know about the other world. Right? Like you meet other people who already know. So that was different, a very different thing from the way 4 and 5 are played out. Yeah. But the portable version, man, did they rip out so much from that game? It is. I was like, this feels weird. This doesn't feel right. I played a section to the point where like you get your persona, right, and that whole moment happens, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go watch a YouTube video of that section I played of the original version. And it feels so different. The tone is so different because you're missing all of like the 3D world, right? The characters moving in it, you having to move around the school a little bit, you having to click on things a little bit. And there's not a lot, but there's enough that and even just the way the characters move in the world or what they're doing, you get none of that because all you're seeing is art person talking to art person, talking to art person. And they cut all the anime cutscenes and they chop that up into sort of just a couple still images with the voice over it. And I was like, wow, that sucks. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah. So I'm really, really hoping that the remake is a thing so I can really get into and enjoy that game because it's like if I have to play it, from what I've read, physically playing the game is better on portable because of the quality of life stuff that they added later into Persona 4. They put into this version. But missing that other stuff, it makes it really hard to want to do that. So
now there are rumors going around that at the Xbox showcase, there could possibly be an announcement about a remake of Persona 3 portable. So we shall see. But
if it happens there, that's cool. I mean, they did have the other Persona announcement, so that'd be great. I just want the game to exist so I can play it. So I don't really care where it is. All right, and then just a little bit, real quick. I went to State of Decay 2 a little bit, and I didn't really get to the big update stuff because you have to get to a certain point where you're dealing with infestations and plague carts, so I didn't really get to that. But the community management stuff that I hadn't tried is really cool, where your survivors that you previously had, you can now look at all their abilities and what they have left on them after they survived, and what their abilities, what their traits are, and you can sort through them, by traits or abilities they have or skills they have. Like, it makes it so much easier to utilize. So that was cool. And then I just jumped into Darkest Dungeon 2 finally, like to really see that final version.
Yeah.
And yeah, they changed a lot, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I guess I'll talk more about that next week. I'm going to keep playing that.
Cool. All right. So now it's time to jump into the weekly news beat. So, of course, the first story happened at the beginning of this last week. So, of course, Activision Blizzard, the deal with Xbox and Microsoft, the EA has approved Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition.
You mean
Now,
EU?
The EU, yes. That's what I mean. So before, the CMA obviously had rejected, of course, and, they, of course, struck down the deal, but it looks like the EU, of course, has, approved it, which is a plus, clearing a huge hurdle for Microsoft here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw you the link to the story from CNBC, and I'm going to read a little bit of it for you here. Basically, the part where European Commission said Microsoft offered remedies to allay competition concerns. Consumers who have bought or will buy an Activision game will be able to stream these titles on any cloud gaming platform of their choice. Microsoft will also offer royalty-free licenses to cloud gaming platforms to stream Activision games if a consumer has purchased them. The idea is that gamers do not necessarily need to stream the game where they buy it. So a senior official at the European Commission told reporters that the move will increase competition in the market and allow streaming platforms that didn't have access to Activision games to now have them. Quote, "We had a concern about cloud gaming, which is very nascent right now, but it will grow," end quote. Margarethe Vestager, the EU's top competition official, told CNBC's Sylvia Amaro last Monday. Quote, "We were given a remedy, so a 10-year license for free for existing and coming games now to be made available. So we think this is not only sort of solving a problem, but it is also pro-competitive, and that for us is a good thing," end quote. So I guess the cloud gaming aspect of it all was the major concern for the EU as well. But with these remedies, they decided to approve the deal, whereas before the CMA had similar concerns, which obviously for some reason they decided not to side with Microsoft on this. Burley, I will start with you on this. What do you think of this decision for the EU approving the deal, and what do you feel about this moving forward?
I'm glad to see that this went through. Like and I do agree with you. The cloud, seeming like the cloud was one of the major hurdles, because as we heard a few weeks back when it got denied, it was all about the cloud and saying Microsoft was like the majority of the cloud gaming and all that stuff and all that, and then the horse shit Sony brought up about it and all that, the cloud. I'm glad to see it gone through, and I'm hoping with this one going through, some of the other markets that they've got to wait for approval are going to just steamroll and just approve, and go.
Yeah, actually, China approved it as well.
Yes,
we got that.
Yeah, China's what is it? SAMR is their regulatory body, and they approved it with no conditions. Just
no conditions.
Go ahead, do what you want.
Yeah,
do what you want, so we can rip you off later.
Like, because we want to buy stuff too, China. They're like, Tencent's like, we want to buy like, EA or Ubisoft or someone,
Yeah. So, Carl, what are your thoughts, and how quickly do you think this deal moves through now that the EU has approved it?
Well, it's changed things, but still hurdles. This was the right decision. Cloud, it's weird that that's become the focal point, because as they said, that woman that you brought up from the EU, she said, and there was an interview I watched where she's like, yeah, the cloud, gaming market is only like maybe 3% of the entire.
Right. It's still a very small market at
like,
the moment.
It's tiny.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yes.
at most it was 3%.
Yeah.
So like to make that the thing that's going to stop a $69 billion merger doesn't make a lot of sense. I sort of like maybe see why you're trying to protect this possible market, because maybe there's the idea that it could become something really, really big. I guess.
Right. And the concern was that Microsoft would step in and take advantage of it now, and then just completely control the market in the future and just have a monopoly over it all.
Yeah. So you may be looking at it as like it could become Netflix and those type of things, right? Where like streaming video is the way most people watch content now.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, they're like, well, that could happen for video games possibly. Who knows, right? It doesn't seem like it yet.
Yeah.
So that's that protection there. And does it promote competition? I mean, I really think it does, because what they're saying is like, hey, you're trying to buy this company that has a very big product. Call of Duty, obviously, is the one we're talking about here. But there's others. And we want to make sure that's available so that you can't dominate the market with this one big play, like chess piece, really, right?
Yeah.
And what that actually does is prevent someone, I'm going to point out Sony, from potentially talking to Activision and saying, hey, we want exclusive cloud streaming rights for Call of Duty on PlayStation Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's no reason they couldn't have done that. But now they can't. So that's a really good way to promote competition, because nobody's going to be able to hold that over anyone.
PlayStation won't be able to do it. Xbox won't be able to do it. Yeah. So that's
And it's only 10 years, but like, then that's fine, because look, if the cloud market isn't something big in 10 years, it's never going to be. Let's just look at it that way. How is this going to go forward, man? That's tough, because
you still got the FTC. Now the CMA has a lot of pressure on them. Even the Prime Minister in the UK is even putting pressure on the CMA. So we shall see. Yeah.
The FTC one is the one everyone's like, they're going to lose in court. I'm like, probably, right? But that could take time. The CMA one is, I think that timetable is a little shorter, but it could still take time depending on how that appeals process goes with CAT and what CAT actually does, because they could just say, well, your methodology was wrong, and now go back and do it again.
Yeah.
And the CMA, if they are inclined to just block it for whatever reason, they could, but I don't know. I find it hard for them to be like, oh yeah, the stuff you said here is completely wrong. Can you redo it? And they're like, well, we don't have an argument anymore, but we're still blocking it. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't really make sense. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we shall. And of course, that's a little bit of good news for Xbox, obviously, with all the news of Redfall that we talked about in the last episode. So this was a little bit of good news for them moving into June. And of course, the Xbox Games Showcase is coming up with the Starfield event. Mm-hmm. So, we shall see what happens with this news as it moves into the future. But now let's move on, guys. We're going to move on to PlayStation now. And of course, the PlayStation Showcase that's coming up. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring that up for you guys. So, it looks like there's going to be, of course, let me just a little technical issue here. So there we go. Okay, so here we go. So the PlayStation Showcase that's going to be coming up. And here is the link to the article from the PlayStation blog. So basically, join us on Wednesday, May 24th, 2023, 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 9 p.m. British Standard Time. A wealth of new games and new IP headed to PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2. So the show will run a bit over an hour, focusing on PS5 and PSVR 2 games in development from top studios from around the world. Expect a glimpse at several new creations from PlayStation Studios, as well as spellbinding games from our third-party partners and indie creators. So you can watch it, of course, on PlayStation's YouTube and Twitch channels. And, of course, we will be doing a gaming news reaction video to all of the news that comes out of this event. So, Burley, I'm going to start with you again here. What do you expect us to see at this PlayStation Showcase event?
Oh, the obvious one I think is Spider-Man 2 because they're still sticking with a fall release. We haven't really seen anything in a while on that, so whether that's going to be the opener or closer, I'm not too sure. But I have a feeling we're going to see that. And they have said they're going to do stuff for PSVR 2, so they're going to push a couple VR games because they've got to try and do something with that because PSVR 2 is not selling or not talked about. So they want to try and get any news on it is trying. And as we heard, like I think 2 days ago, we got some more stuff. They were talking about their accessibility controller. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get that.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 16 is coming out next month. So I'm sure you're going to get 5 minutes on that. Wouldn't be surprised if we get something on FF7 Remake. I think it's Rebirth is the second game's title. Because that they're saying is winter this year, Square is saying. So wouldn't be surprised there. Now they said they're going to go for like a lot of their studios and showing off new products and projects. For Naughty Dog, I wouldn't be surprised we get was it Last of Us Factions, I think the multiplayer game is called.
The multiplayer aspect, multiplayer,
So we'll get I wouldn't be surprised we get that shown off. And then some of their other studios, because was it Ben Studio hasn't shown because they did Days Gone and haven't done anything haven't shown anything in a few years. So I wouldn't be surprised what they're currently working on gets shown.
I don't think we'll see Death Stranding 2 yet because I think Kojima-san said earlier in the spring they started on the recordings, like the actual character recordings for the game. So I think they're still way early in production on that. That's not going to come yet. But
but you remember the first game? They had like all these crazy weird trailers that didn't show any gameplay. It was just so who's to say he doesn't have some weird thing ready to go just to show CGI?
Yeah.
In that case, maybe.
Right.
And one I think we'll get for the PC side, Ghost Tsushima. I think they'll show us a little bit of that coming to PC because that's probably out of all the PS4 games that haven't come, that's probably the biggest one that still hasn't come, and it makes sense by now because it's been out for a few years. They have the PS5 edition of the game.
Well, it's interesting too that just this week there was some news also that Ghost of Tsushima and Sekiro are going to be made into anime form. So they're making like anime series adaptations of those games. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some news from that. But I really think they're gonna focus heavy on Spider-Man 2. I mean, I think the last 10 minutes is going to be Spider-Man 2. And don't be surprised if they have some PSVR 2 elements for Spider-Man 2 as well that they might show off. So I don't know. Carl, where do you stand on the showcase? What do you think is going to come up?
Yeah, it should be a great one. It's been 2 years since they've done one of these.
Yeah.
And they should have a lot to show, I'd hope, a first party. But they're also going to have big third-party partnerships. They always do.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima 2, I wouldn't be surprised to see at least some sort of tease of that.
Okay.
Although I would love to see Infamous come back in some regard. I don't think they're working on it, but a remake would be great if somebody was working on that.
Well, they do. They do have what's it? Blue Point. They bought Blue Point and they did the Demon Souls remake.
True, but Blue Point has said they are working on an original project.
True.
Yeah. So their next thing, that's not to say, I guess they could have a separate team doing an original project and a remake. I don't know how big they are, but I don't know if they would want to do that. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's 70 people as of 2021.
Wow.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's not that big.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'm trying to think what else. VR. They better get that Half-Life Alyx on there.
It's not coming. It's probably not coming.
They better get that on there. I don't know.
Unfortunately,
who is it? Firesprite or someone that they bought? Is that the one that does VR?
Firesprite.
Yeah, they did. They did the Horizon game.
Oh, okay.
Call of the Mountain.
Yes.
Or maybe you'll get Astrobot thing that people loved. Another one of those.
Soba.
Yeah, but that was the one, right? What was the one? The PSVR 1 Astrobot game that people loved. That was supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
So like that's the things that I could, they need to do. The ones that people really are interested in, those type of things, the big stuff.
How about another Resident Evil 9?
I mean, no, like if you're gonna stop doing these. Oh, there's a VR mode of a regular game. Like that's nothing special. You haven't designed a game for VR. You just bolted it on to an existing game. It's not giving me a better experience. The game's already good the way it was. I don't need to play it that way.
They could show RE4 remake for VR because they have said that is in the works. They did say so.
Yeah.
Don't waste my time on that. The things I don't want them wasting my time on.
Yeah, but
like
PlayStation gamers, Carl, that do have VR, they're going to want those type of things, especially because games for VR, they're not like 20, 30 hour experiences like a normal game. Obviously, they're like 3-4 hour experiences at the most. And so like these games like Call of the Mountain for Horizon, obviously, probably, like I said, Spider-Man 2 is probably going to have some kind of VR element to it, and these PlayStation gamers, they will buy it, they will pick it up if they have the VR headset. So it's something that they probably will be promoting. We shall see, but excited to see what they have to show. And
do you think we're going to get
Go ahead, Burley. Yeah,
I was going to say, do you think we're going to get Wolverine? Because they teased that
too early. Yeah, I think it's still too early. They got to get Spider-Man 2 out of the way first, and then they'll move to Wolverine, I think. So
yeah, I don't expect it, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to put something out there because they did already tease it. So and they teased it with pretty much nothing. So
another 30-second trailer, or something.
Yeah, right, something like that. Spider-Man should get a fairly lengthy segment.
Yes.
And Final Fantasy 16, I hope doesn't, because we've already seen lengthy stuff about that. So like, just remind people and move on. You really don't need to.
Yeah, I don't think they'll spend too much time on it, but they will. I think kind of just rehash the stuff we've already seen with this, because like Square had an event a few weeks ago for it.
Yeah. All righty. So that's the PlayStation Showcase.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. We got to mention the fact that everybody thinks Metal Gear Solid 3 remake's going to be there.
Yeah, that's
so that would be big. That's really
happen.
Especially if it has some sort of timed exclusivity, which everybody expects.
Yeah.
Oh, Silent Hill 2. Because
that better be there, because supposedly it was this year, but I don't really believe that. But if it's coming this year, it's got to be here.
Yes.
Ain't happening. And then the other Konami one, like, while we're talking about it, Castlevania is a rumor out there that they may have also gotten some sort of license for that.
Right.
So, who knows? Maybe Blue Point's original game is a new Castlevania game.
Maybe. All right. So
Castlevania.
Turn-based.
All right. Let's move on to the next part of the story with PlayStation. So obviously, Jim Ryan, he had an interview this week, and basically, he reiterated that PlayStation 5 exclusives won't be coming to PC on day one. So this is from, of course, I will put the link down here for you guys for the story from thegamer.com. So anyway, speaking with Famitsu, translated over on Reset Era, Jim Ryan discussed the topic of PS5 exclusives and how this release model is working well for Sony yet again. Quote, PlayStation Studios' main responsibility is to have people enjoy the game experience using the latest PlayStation, end quote, says Ryan. Quote, we are increasing the number of PS5 exclusive titles and staggering the release of the PC version, end quote. So, and then, of course, he goes on to claim that players are fine with this model. Quote, I often have the opportunity to ask game fans for their opinions, and when I ask them about the time lag, they say that selling the PC version 2 or 3 years after the release of the PS version is accepted favorably, end quote. But he does also add that Sony will, quote, continue to listen to the voices of game fans, end quote. So I'll start with you on this one, Carl. Do you think this, obviously, when it comes to the console market strategy. Obviously, this has worked well for Sony over the years, but I mean, do you think in the future, with obviously, with the Xbox side of things, of course, a lot of games are coming to PC day one, everything. Do you think PlayStation will have to change that strategy as time moves forward? Your thoughts?
I think they may change it. I don't know that they'll ever have to change it because it's still working for them, and this is the way that they want to run their business. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're very successful. I think there are probably, he says a lot of gamers are happy with this release schedule, and I'm sure he's very right if they're a PlayStation gamer. But if you're not, if you're a PC person, I'm sure you're not happy about these games coming to PC sort of from whenever they feel like. That's not a good way to do it for other people that aren't on your platform. But you don't have to care about them when you're selling 20 million copies of God of War Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why Nintendo doesn't do it either, because they can sell millions of copies of a Zelda game like in days. So it's going to be that way. And I don't know, everybody wants to compare this to what Xbox is doing and what Phil Spencer said. They're in a very different position, and they are the company that is PC, right? Windows is PC, right? So
Right.
It is odd for them not to do that at a certain point. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So when they decided to do that, it made sense for them. It synergizes with their overall business, right?
Mhm.
So different strategies for different companies, and if you're all making money and you're all profitable, do your thing.
Burley, it's your turn. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by what he says. They've stand by this for a while now. Like, they're not going to change this unless they ever have to. And that, like, I would love them for day one just so more people could get them on day one, but they're in the traditional console market. They're still wanting you to sell you on the PS5 and get you into their ecosystem, so that way they can get you there, then get you in with their VR, hopefully. It's their hopes and stuff like that. They're wanting to get you in on that. Yeah. It's not that they don't care about PC, but they want you in their ecosystem. They know they've got their fans that will buy into their ecosystem. And for the ones that they won't get into their buy the console and all that, and they've got the high priced PC, they're starting to realize, okay, we can just get a port, get it out on the PC, and that way people will at least get the software sales there.
Right. Yeah, I think let me just say this, and then I'll let you go on, Carl. But I think just they do have a fear of, if they do put exclusives on PC day one. Obviously, as you said, Carl, Microsoft is PC centric. Microsoft is PC, right? So they would probably lose in that case scenario. Whereas they dominate the console market at the moment. They are number one. They want to continue doing that because that's how they make their money. So I mean, just the case of, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So I think that's kind of the model that they want to just continue with moving forward, because it makes them money. So go ahead. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was just saying, you got to wonder if the state of the Last of Us Part 1 PC release is a factor in influencing reinforcing their decision. Like, no, this is the way we want to do it, because that gives a bad image for PlayStation when something like that comes out. And they want to they can control the state of the game much better when it's only on PlayStation 5. Yeah. And staggering and not telling you, a specific deadline for when these games are released is going to be their way of saying, like, yeah, we'll put it out when it's ready. Maybe they felt pressure to get the Last of Us Part 1 out because of the show, and now they're regretting doing that.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that, because I can't imagine they would have normally released release that game in just such a bad state, and they kept delaying that PC port. You know, they wanted it out like a week or two after the first episode came, but they kept delaying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let us know in the comments, everybody. What do you think about this? If you're primarily a PlayStation gamer, how would you feel about exclusives coming to PC day one? Are you for that, or would you be against that? Let us know what you think in the comments. We'd really love to hear from you all on that. So, all right, it's time to move on, guys. Next story, obviously. And I'm going to warn all of you out there right now, because I'm going to be showing the trailer for this. And as the trailer goes on, there are some gory scenes. So you might want to turn away for this Mortal Kombat 1 trailer that's going to be coming up. But anyway, the next story we have for you, Mortal Kombat 12 revealed as Mortal Kombat 1. So I will leave the link below here to the IGN story, and I'm going to read a little bit of it for you as this goes on here. So, and as I said, the trailer, when it starts up, as it gets into about the second half of it, it gets quite gory. So you might want to turn away. But anyway, so Warner Brother Games and NetherRealm Studios have officially revealed that a rebooted Mortal Kombat 1 will arrive on September 19th for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and Series S, and Nintendo Switch, PC. So following an earnings call tease earlier this year, Warner Brothers Discovery and NetherRealm announced Mortal Kombat 1 officially on its website and released the reveal trailer, which we're going to be showing here now. So, quote, the game will introduce a reborn Mortal Kombat universe that has been created by the fire god Liu Kang, featuring reimagined versions of iconic characters, end quote. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on the trailer and this Mortal Kombat 1 that's going to be coming to consoles? Carl, I'll start with you.
I watched this and yes, it's pretty CGI. And I don't know anything about the current state of the Mortal Kombat story. So watching this, I'm I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why this is a reboot. What makes this different than what they've done before? I really isn't there for me. And I don't know. It looks cool though. It gets incredibly gory, as we're gonna see.
Yeah.
I was enjoying it up until that point, and I was like, yeah, you know what? This is a little bit much. The graphic gore is more stomachable when it's combined with sort of the silliness that they provide in a lot of the fatalities. In this, it was just very serious, killing. It's rough, pretty rough.
But, well, they're catering to the fighting game fans out there that probably enjoy.
It's fictional. It's not real.
Right.
I'm not against this type of violence. It's just sometimes it can be rough to look at.
Yeah. Burley, your thoughts?
Visually, it looks good. I'm just not huge into these fighting games. These are never something. Oh, day one I have to have.
Uh-huh.
These are I'll buy it for $10. Play maybe if I get 10 hours before I get bored is great. But to go to 1 instead of being 12, it's because of the whole story with 11. Because I had someone explain this to me. It's I'd rather they just call it Mortal Kombat give subtitle. Just put a subtitle.
Yeah.
Instead of going 1.
I feel that's proven to be less successful for some reason. Right. Depending on the game, right? But numbers get too high and subtitles get too long. I think that those are sort of red flags for naming conventions. Unless you're Zelda Tears of the Kingdom or The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. You can do whatever you want, I guess.
Yeah. But it's still going with typical fighting game fashion of pre-order to get get one character. So you don't pre-order, SOL, we'll sell it to you later, or you got to buy the Ultimate Edition with our 3 to 5 DLC waves and keep giving us another $40 to $60. That's the thing. These fighting games go insane with how much you can spend. That's why I've kind of I got out because it's
it's the precursor to Evo, because Evo, this game is going to be huge at Evo next year.
Oh.
I mean, so yeah, it's basically like a marketing tool for them. So
Yeah, there's a leak actually for the first DLC pack, and it's supposedly it's going to be a Peacemaker in there, and Omni-Man and Homelander.
Ooh, Homelander.
Yeah, like those are cool. Those are really cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Omni-Man is interesting as well. I mean, because that's pretty violent in Invincible, so sort of on brand as well as Homelander. Very Superman-like type characters.
No, Homelander's quite calm. He's never violent or menace.
Okay. All right. Let's jump into the topic of the show, guys. So, obviously, I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom. Burley, you're also playing. You're going to start playing it.
I'm starting it on Monday.
Yeah. Obviously, this game.
Buy me a copy. I guess I'll play it.
Yeah. So
okay, we'll send you a copy. You got to play it, complete it, and everything. Carl, and talk.
All right, I'll play. I mean, I can play it in bed. I got a Switch Lite.
So anyway, this game has gotten 10s out of 10s pretty much everywhere. Obviously, sales of this game just are through the roof. In 3 days, it sold over 10 million copies. It sold much more since then. And then, of course, out here in Japan, it's basically now it's like the top Japanese selling game. It was like at number 7 in the first few days, and it sold over 1.1 million physical copies on release. And people just lining up everywhere in stores throughout Japan here. I mean, it's just like a cultural phenomenon in a sense. But yeah, to many people, Zelda is a loved franchise, obviously. And so, I mean, you have those type of gamers that are like really, really into Zelda, kind of like last year when you had those gamers that were really, really into Elden Ring, the fighting games. And so you get those people, and you get those people in the media, and you get those types of gamers that they're going to just, be completely biased about a particular game. And I just have this feeling that we're in the same situation this year that we were last year with Elden Ring, that this game is basically most likely preordained to be Game of the Year, even before the Game of the Year nominees come out. I just think it's going to win Game of the Year. What are your guys' thoughts on all of this? Burley, I'll start with you.
I kind of agree. It is preordained it to be up there to, if not win. That I'm not surprised with. There's always biased with the gaming journalism and all that. This I'm quite excited to actually start playing. I've heard a lot of great things, and like they did take a lot of improvements from Breath of the Wild. So I had some of my friends that have it, and they're like, no, because there's elements of Breath of the Wild I love, and there are elements I hate. The dungeons are much better, and like the whole fuse mechanic and stuff is really good. Mm-hmm. But they have also said Aonuma, I can't remember if that's how you pronounce his name. Sorry if I butchered it. They're saying like this is the kind of Aonuma-san. It has been saying like this is the direction the Zelda series is going to go for the next while, and I can't blame them. It's working sales wise, and like as Zelda does work, the Legend of Zelda series does work as an open world adventure.
Carl, I'll go ahead and throw it to you now, but let me just ask you in this way: if Starfield is delayed again, it probably won't be, but let's just say if Starfield is delayed again, what percentage would you give Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for winning Game of the Year?
I mean, 100. 100%.
100. Okay, yeah. So you agree? All right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything that can possibly stop it from winning Game of the Year besides Starfield, and I don't know that Starfield.
No
will,
Final
'cause
Fantasy
we don't.
16 love.
No. I'm even if this game is incredible, I still don't think it's going to, because this is that type of game like Elden Ring where it's just cultural zeitgeist type thing. Everyone is talking about it. It's everywhere you go. You can't avoid it. And there's good reason for that. I mean, it does look incredible. There's amazing things you can do in it. I mean, I am a little annoyed by the fact that like you go through your Twitter stream and there's just countless videos of like, look at this weird thing I created. You know, look at this amazing flying machine that has its own drone I saw. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that is pretty amazing. That's incredible. I'm seeing this stuff that's amazing. But also I'm like, but is that what I want to play a Zelda game for? I'm like, I guess that's true for people now. Mm-hmm. I'm an old school Zelda fan, and I moved on from mostly Nintendo franchises. I moved on from. So when I see this game, I'm like, well, it's not original Zelda. It's not Link to the Past. It's not Ocarina of Time, right? That was Zelda to me. This is something different, and I'm just, if I played it and maybe I would love it, but I don't know. It's just the thing is I don't see enough people showing me and saying like, what is this game beyond this wild building mechanic, and the physics stuff, right? I want to know more of that, and I did hear some of that in one podcast I listened to, and it sounded really good. It sounded like they added more story elements, which is good, and I am definitely expecting it, to be Game of the Year. But I have to see what Starfield is going to offer, because you can't count that one out, because Fallout 4, well, it didn't win Game of the Year at the Game Awards. It won the DICE Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And Oblivion and Skyrim and Fallout 3 all won Game of the Year awards at different shows. The Game Awards didn't exist back then, so
right.
So yeah, there's a pedigree there of that level. So like, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. But I think the odds are obviously in the favor of Tears of the Kingdom to just sweep and win Game of the Year again.
I mean, it definitely shut down the conversation for anything like Hogwarts Legacy or Jedi Survivor. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else this year that was. People were thinking Spider-Man 2 is one that could. We haven't seen it. We don't.
Depending
know.
on when it comes out. I mean, it might not come out. At the cutoff point. We shall see.
Who knows? Yeah, they wouldn't. Sony wouldn't do that, right? We know Sony cares a lot about Game Awards, so it's either coming out before or it's delayed till next year. Right? Yeah. And
I wouldn't be surprised if it were the latter, actually. But
you never know.
Yeah, with that showcase that we just talked about earlier, with that coming up, I just don't see them delaying it to 2024. So we'll see. But
I don't think so.
But if this sweeps the Game Awards and it sweeps all the other gaming award shows, that I would not be surprised. So I'm playing it and I'm loving it so far. So. We shall see. Yeah. And it's interesting. Boring. A lot of people, like you were talking about Twitter, there's a lot of people on Twitter too saying, I'm taking the day off and my kid's not going to school today. We're going to play Zelda, on day one, so, I mean, it's that big of a game and it's that much of a, like I said, kind of a cultural phenomena for, gamers to just completely, put down their work and, say, hey, you don't have to go to school today. We're going to play Zelda together. So, I mean, that's a pretty cool thing too. So,
yeah, I was going to say it is boring when you have a game that like everyone thinks, that's just going to win. And the awards don't really matter that much, but I don't know, if you're interested, if you like the industry, it's more interesting and fun when there are several games that you think could win it.
Yeah.
So, there's that. I do wonder, like, will this have the staying power in the conversation like Elden Ring did? Like, that came out in what was it, February? It was very early in the year.
It was March.
It was early, like it was the first quarter, I think.
Yeah, right.
So.
And it sort of dominated and kept the conversation throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
This came out now, we're already in May, and will it keep that conversation going all the way to the end of the year? I mean, it's possible. I don't know. That will say a lot. Like if something unseats it, right? Like if we have the PlayStation showcase, the Xbox showcase, Starfield comes out, Spider-Man 2 comes out, and people are just not really talking about Zelda anymore, then maybe that changes its chance at winning a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So that was our topic of the show. So if you are playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, please let us know in the comments what you think about the game. How do you feel about it? Do you think it's a shoe-in to win Game of the Year? Let us know. We'd really like to hear from you all on that. So now it's time to move on to our new game releases. So, of course, you can go to the link that I'm putting down here below, releases.com, where you can check out all of the new releases that are coming for the month of May and throughout the year that have been confirmed. So now it's time for our picks of the week. And so first up is Burley with My Precious. What game do you have for us, Burley? Let us know, Burley. What do you got for us?
My pick of the week is The Lord of the Rings Gollum, a narrative-focused adventure game that will center on J.R.R. Tolkien's famous tricksy dual-personality character. The game will explore the events that occur between Gollum's finding the One Ring and the start of the Lord of the Rings story. It's coming Thursday, May 25th to PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series.
Yeah, so we're finally getting it. Yeah, it's been a while. So they delayed it a few times at least. Yeah, so
I still have doubts this game exists. But...
well, you're going to see it soon enough.
We'll see next week. And then when this review's coming out, and they're like, yeah, we played it. It's a game.
Yeah. Yeah. There's Gandalf. Yeah. It's a younger Gandalf there. Yeah. So, so Burley, what about this game are you looking forward to the most?
I'm curious to see how the gameplay is going to be and see where they go for the story. Like, I know you're going to have, I'm sure they're going to have little winks and nods if you've read the Silmarillion and all the other books and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, Carl, how about you? I mean, is this a game that that I know you probably wouldn't want to play this day one, but is this a game that you would want to pick up and try for some specific elements of it?
I mean, probably not. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy. I like the movies, whatever. I liked the Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War games. Those are fun. Really good games, but there isn't anything about the lore of this that's really going to make me want to play it. And gameplay wise, I don't really know. I haven't seen. I know it's like mostly stealth based.
Stealth and puzzle based.
Yeah, and I do like that. So if it, it's something like a Plague Tale, right? Maybe, it'd be good.
Okay.
Throw it up on Game Pass. I'll give it a try, right?
Oh, okay.
We knew that was coming. We knew that was
coming. All of you viewers out there, of course, Turn-Based Carl, he is our resident Game Pass subscriber. Of course, I'm a Game Pass subscriber as well as Burley, but yes, but Carl, yes, he swears by it. So,
and thank you, Expat, for your impression of Gollum doing the precious.
My precious Game Pass.
All right, Carl, let's go ahead and move on. So you're up next. What do you got for us? What's your pick of the week?
Speaking of Game Pass, we got the Planet of Lana, which is launching into Game Pass on May 23rd. It's on PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series. A young girl and her loyal friend embark on a rescue mission through a colorful world full of cold machines and unfamiliar creatures. Planet of Lana is a cinematic puzzle adventure framed by an epic sci-fi saga that stretches across centuries and galaxies. And this is one of those games along the lines of like Inside and Limbo. And there was one, was it Somerville, I think, not too long ago. And I guess even, that's because Benedict Fox is more Metroidvania-esque. but it's that sort of 2D thing. And this one seems like this is the one, right? That's going to be the really good one.
Yeah.
I did see one early review that was like a 9 out of 10. So, I'm hopeful that this ends up being really good, and it should be a short, really fun experience.
Nice. Okay, my turn. So, obviously, here on the Arena, the Arena Productions, of course, we also, with our gaming news that we do here, we also do other entertainment and pop culture related content here. And of course, Warp Factor 10 is one of our shows where we do a lot of Star Trek content. And of course, we're really excited for all that content that we put out. And there is a big game that's coming this week, and it is my pick of the week. It is called Star Trek Resurgence. So, really looking forward to this one. Star Trek Resurgence is an interactive narrative video game that tells an original story set in the era shortly after the events of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Stationed aboard the USS Resolute, players will assume the role of two principal characters: First Officer Yara Rydek and engineering crew person Carter Diaz, as they unravel a sinister mystery involving two alien civilizations on the brink of war. Throughout the game, players will immerse themselves in the Star Trek universe, interacting with new and returning characters through a variety of dialogue and action gameplay to determine the course of the story. So it comes out on May 23rd for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series S and X. So really excited for this one. Hey, there's Spock there. So I'm really excited for this, and I'm really excited for the story elements of it. I'm really excited to see, for example, what kind of decisions you'll have to choose from and make, and how the story moves in certain directions as you make those decisions that might affect the other characters of your crew. So really looking forward to this. How about you guys? Carl, I know you were really looking forward to Star Trek Resurgence too.
Yeah, really excited. It's in that right time period in the Star Trek universe, like sort of post Deep Space Nine time, where I really want to see more of that era. So I'm happy that that's where they went. I do like these type of Telltale-ish type games. I don't play a lot of them, but I do like them. Yeah, I want to wait for reviews to see how well, what people say about it. I don't remember the studio. Is this their first one? I don't remember which studio this actually was, but
Dynamic Labs. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know them, right? And it's a $40 game, so it's a mid range. I'm excited. Hopefully, really good.
Good stuff. Burley, how about you? Excited for it?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. See what situations we're going to get put in, and what actions and dialogue choices I choose. Right. How is it going to play out in the consequences? Because as we saw in the trailer, follow orders or disobey.
That's right.
How is that going to? And do we get into a good old Kobayashi Maru?
Yeah, we shall see. So and maybe we'll do an episode of Warp Factor 10 as well, discussing the game when we complete it, and do a review of it and stuff like that as well. So really looking forward to it. So those were our picks of the week. So you can check out all of the games coming out this week on releases.com. So the link is below there for you. So please go and check that out. Yeah, so good stuff. So those are the picks of the week. So up next, we've got some news on the PlayStation front. Of course, we didn't do an episode last week, so this week we're kind of catching up on PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. So Burley, take it away. What do we have for Extra and Premium for the remainder of May?
Alrighty, we've got Bus Simulator 21 next up, Conan Exiles, Dishonored 2, Dishonored Death of the Outsider, which is the downloadable little game, Humanity, Lake, Rain World, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Definitely, I cannot recommend that game enough. Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration, Rune Factory 4 special, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, Soundfall, The Evil Within 2, Themisa, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. That's the one of the 3 Tomb Raider games I actually haven't played, so it'd be nice to be able to play that. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Oh, that's the second one. No, sorry, third.
No, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition is the first one.
Right, and then Shadow's the third.
Yep.
Yeah. Rise of the Tomb Raider is the second one. Yeah. So Rise, then Shadow. Yeah.
Watch Dogs Legion, Wolfenstein Youngblood, Blade Dancer, Lineage of Light, which is the PS Plus Premium. We're in the Premium section now. Ghostbusters, the video game remastered, Pursuit Force, and Siphon Filter Logan's Shadow.
Nice.
Dude, gotta say, Premium sucks. Ain't worth it. Extra, like, this is a really good line.
Yeah, I mean, putting Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on there, that's pretty good. I mean, that's an amazing game. I mean, Burley can attest to that. Yeah, him and I, we both finished that. It's super game. Love to play that. Yeah,
Platinum. And if you were someone that likes, I actually have DualSense near me. If you like the adaptive triggers, this game shows you how you can use them, because pretty much I think there's one gun that doesn't use them, but like you got like so many guns in it, so it doesn't matter how you fire. So it's a really cool game mechanic.
Right. It really takes advantage of the adaptive triggers. Yeah, definitely.
And the quick load time, like you're only loading between planets.
Right.
And it's so quick, you're like blinking, you're like, oh, I'm back in the game.
Exactly.
It's so good.
Right. Okay, Carl. So
Bethesda games on there. Watch Dogs Legions is one I would want to try. Do you both have this?
I played Legions, yeah. Also, the thing that's cool about Legions is every NPC basically, has its own characteristics and its own personality. Neat. So I mean, that's the cool thing about the game. So
I've actually never played a Watch Dogs. I do have the service. Because I renewed the premium because when mine was about to run out, they had a little discount to renew. So I was like, okay, I'll give it another shot, because I did when I bought it. It was so cheap, and I was like, it was the same price of buying Stray outright. So I was like, okay,
check out Humanity for us, because I mean that's launching into the service. It's a new indie that they feature, and it looks good. It reviewed really well, so.
Yep. All right. Okay. It's you're up next, Carl. So what do we have for Game Pass coming up for the rest of this month?
All right. We have FIFA 23. That's already out. We have Eastern Exorcist also out today. May 18th. Ghost Lore, that's console only, May 18th. Then on the 23rd, we have Planet of Lana launching into the service there. We have Cassette Beasts on the 25th. That's the console version, but PC already came out. That one I'm definitely going to try on console next week. You have Massive Chalice on May 25th. And you have Railway Empire 2 on May 25th. Also, I guess that's a new game launching in there as well. Chicory, A Colorful Tale on May 30th, which this is one I've heard of before. I think it might have been only on PlayStation or Switch or something. And that was reviewed very well. So that's cool. That's coming to Xbox now on Game Pass. Nice. And I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big one here is, of course, Planet of Lana. I think that's the big one. It's coming out. So. And was your pick of the week, and of course, that's one of the big indies that's coming. So, really excited for that one. Yeah,
I can't wait to try out Cassette Beast myself.
Yeah,
that's why when I have some free time, I want to try that out.
Nice. All right, so those are the Game Pass games through the second wave of the month of May. So. If you have Game Pass, please take advantage of the service and download these games and try them out. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, so it's time for some programming notes. And of course, like I said before, we also do a lot of other content like internet entertainment and pop culture related content here on the Arena Productions. And of course, we did a spoiler review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And that is up on the channel now. So if you have seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, come and check out our spoiler review of it. It was really fun to talk about. And it was a great episode that we did there. So please go and check that out. And then, of course, our Warp Factor 10 show, our show about all things Star Trek. Of course, this last week, there was some news that popped out with a really, really short clip of the crossover that's coming for Strange New Worlds Season 2 of Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Lower Decks. So I did a quick video on that. So please go and check that out. And you can see the leaked clip that they show of course, Boimler and Mariner with Pike and some of the crew of Strange New Worlds. So yeah, that was a pretty cool little video to do.
Yeah.
So go and check that out. So good stuff. So that is some of the other content that we have have come out with recently. So please go and check that out here on the Arena Productions. So anyway, it's time to talk about the games that we're going to be playing this upcoming week. I'm going to be continuing with Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm going to try to get back to Star Trek or Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and I want to play Star Trek Resurgence as well because that's my pick of the week. So I'm going to be trying to play those 3 games this week. So Burley, how about you? What are you going to be playing this upcoming week?
I'm going to be Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, is the one I'm going to definitely start and be playing it. And I'm also going to be on my off time. I picked up Lego 2K Drive. I played for like 15 minutes. I enjoyed.
Nice.
That's something I'm going to be playing more of.
Cool. Carl?
Yeah, I definitely got back into Darkest Dungeon 2. Like last night, I was playing it like for hours. Pretty late. I really enjoy that game, and I like a lot of what they did in the final version or the 1.0 release. I'm sure they'll make other updates. I'm definitely going to check out Cassette Beasts a little bit,
nice.
and hopefully, if I get into that, we'll see. And then, Star Trek. We'll see. I mean, I want to see what reviews are, and if my friend of mine who's really into Star Trek, like he's not really a gamer, but like he would love this. Like we might try to
Cool.
play it together, experience it together. We'll see.
Nice. So anyway, let us know in the comments what you think of the stories that we talked about here on this episode of the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, and let us know the games that you're going to be playing this upcoming week. We'd really like to hear from you in the comments on that. So now it's time to talk about our indie recording artist spotlight. So at the end of every episode, we have a indie recording artist music selection, of course, with an outro with some other video game footage. So anyway, this week's spotlight is on Jakob Pietris. Jakob Pietris is a violinist and composer specializing in orchestral music. His fascination with musical scores from classical blockbuster movies and animations is reflected in his work as he aims to create colorful and complex sounds that tell a story and strengthen the narrative. From his album titled The Old Gods, and the song is called Entrance to the Ancient Mines. So this has been the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, episode 133. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. We hope to catch you in the next one. So thank you, everybody that came in. If you're a returning viewer or if you're new to the channel, thank you so much. And we hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone, and enjoy the outro with the music. Peace out.